Okay, ma'am, please continue.
Thank you, Janet. So, a very good morning to all of you. Here it is a new lecture. It is a pre-board lecture because of the non-availability of the past speaker. So today we have with us Ms. Surya Tushir. She is currently working as scientist in Agricultural Microbiology Division at ICR Central Institute of Post-Harvest Engineering and Technology, CIFET, Ludhiana. Her core area of research is development of agro-industrial byproducts. She has got one patent and given 14 license to 5 technology for commercialization. She has published more than 50 research papers, one book, 5 book chapters, and 10 extension literature, and conducted 9 training programs. She has also confirmed with Best Scientist Award, Young Scientist Award, Best Technology Award, Best Researcher, and 12 institutional level awards. So, with these words, I invite Ms. Surya Tushiri for her presentation on utilization of agricultural residue for value addition as protein. Welcome, Surya Madam. Please hold the.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pragya. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me as a speaker in such a multidisciplinary gathering. And as Dr. Pragya briefed, that I am working basically on agricultural residues and their conversion into value-added products. So today I'm giving you an overall coverage about the agricultural residues, how they are utilized at present, and what are the future perspectives, how we can use them for food purpose also. So one example we took here as a protein. So I hope all have joined. Shall I start? And my voice is audible?
Yes, yes, you may continue.
As we all know that agriculture is the largest contributor to the economy, specifically in our country, in India, and more than 60 to 65% population is still involved with the agriculture. And so, when we say that we are largest producers in wheat, rice, second largest or third largest in many of the cereals and to some extent pulses, then definitely we are the largest generators of the waste materials also. And we also called agriculture as a farming, and this farming includes the cultivation of animals, plants, fungi, and other form of life. Why? Because to get a food, fiber, fuel, and different kind of drugs, pharmaceutical products, everything that is needed for a sustainable life for our life. So our country is an agricultural country, we all know, and that's why, as I told, that we are also the largest generator of this waste. And in past years, when in 50s, 60s, even up to 90s, basically the production was not that much high. So and residues are also being either they are dumped or either they've been used as fuel at homes and likewise. But as our population is increasing, so parallelly we are also focusing on uh, production side also, and with that production is also the generation of waste. Now what people what there are what could be the end is it, how we will manage such a huge quantity of waste, because there is a limit of its usage, which I'll show you in further slides, that how it is being used, and even after that how to deal with that waste, what we are calling where to dump. Otherwise, what the farmer are doing, we all know, in the peak seasons, they just, after the harvesting of their crops, they are just burning the residual waste specifically for the rice crop in their field, and it is generating, everybody knows that in North India and in NCR region, Delhi and in and around, there is a huge the air the October, November, and December, and there are so many breathing issues that has been raised if you see the data, because of such kind of pollution that is being created by these kind of residues. And as I told that we are the largest, India is the richest country, I could say, in agricultural resources. Because of its weather conditions, we are able to produce numerous different varieties of crops. That could be your cereals, that could be your pulses, that could be your vegetables, and your spices, and different plantations crop, everything in India, depending upon the type of weather conditions. Different states, they have an edge in different kind of crops. It could be, and because of that, we are presently almost 350 million tons of organic waste that is being produced only from the agricultural sources. And it includes, according to the crop type, the waste could be like the sugarcane bagasse, it could be the paddy husk and paddy straw, wheat straw, and the vegetable, all the waste that is being generated by peeling of vegetables and the utilization in food processing industry. And likewise the fibers, shells, and mill waste and husk and stalks. These are few examples. And if I give a brief about the what exactly these agro-industrial waste, they basically they are generated either from either on field, or either during the processing or during the milling or processing of that agricultural product at the industrial level. From both the ends, these kind of agro-industrial waste, they are generated, and their generation is maybe in some crops it is up to 10%, in some crops it is the 20% of the production of that particular crop. And what ultimately they are doing, they are ultimately giving a harm to our environment. And what we are doing, they are mostly untreated, they are mostly I could say nowadays they are underutilized, because they have certain value added things in tapped in them, but these are remain unexplored till 2000, means in our 90s. But now in last 2 decades, researchers are working on these waste. Further, in last 1 decade, people are working rigorously on production of biofuels. And apart from biofuels, now what next? How further these could be used? But that should not be up to lab level. It should be a thing. This waste should be used as a value addition, not only up to lab level, but it should reach to the consumers. We should use that waste in such a way that it should bring out certain useful product that could come in market, that people could use it. So that was the ultimate aim when we at CIFET targeted the agro-industrial waste, that how better we can convert or we can extract the useful things out of this with an economical value, with a commercial value, and with an acceptance among the consumers. Now, if you can say the agricultural waste, it basically comprised of three, four things. One is the animal waste that came from all different kind of the like the animal carcass and other things. Food processing waste, for example, only the 20% of maize that is canned and 80% is waste. When we are working on the maize for its canning, then 20% is the main product and 80% is the waste. So likewise, different crops have different kind of processing waste during their processing. And other is the crop waste, which is basically either it generated on the field and sometimes during the primary milling of the different crops. These are stalks, bagasse, drops like sugarcane bagasse, we can say, in the sugar industries, and corn stalks on field itself, because the corns are being plugged in field, and other drops and culls, vegetable and prunings. And for example, if I talk about paddy, when it is first of all taken to the rice milling industry, where the milling of rice is done to remove its husk, then the husk comes around 8%, it is waste of the total production. So, and then after milling, in other steps, its bran is also removed to obtain that white rice what we usually consume at our homes. So that is around 10%. So likewise, different kind of crops are there, and at different steps, several different, you can say, waste or residues are generated. And so if we can think that with a single crop, at multiple steps, multiple waste are generated, and each have their own potential for its usage. Now, till these slides, I'm just saying it as a waste, but now people are calling it as a agro residues. These are no more termed as a waste; they are called as a agro residues. Why so? I'll explain in further slides. If you can understand the concept of waste, then through several research papers and through several technical articles, you have must have heard the terminologies like byproducts, co-products, secondary products, intermediate products, and sub-products. So there are so many terminologies that are being used parallelly. But if we go by the European Union guidelines, then basically they say, as per their waste law, it is very clear that material that is simply it is termed as waste or not. There is a difference between two, and for these reasons they have used different kind of these terminologies to explain, to make a difference between a waste, between a byproduct, between a waste, between a co-product, between a secondary product. Likewise that they have given a different definitions for each kind of things, that for that particular thing you have to use this particular term. For example, again I'm taking the example of rice. When the paddy is milled in the industry, the
And
first
video bun.
video is on. Please check. It is visible.
Yes, yes, it is visible. Continue, ma'am.
Okay. So as I told, now we need to understand as a basic difference between a waste, between a production residue, between a byproduct. Waste is something which the person have to discard, because it ultimately don't have much potential for any kind of value addition, which could be economically viable, which could be sustainable, also from environment point of view, also from its production point of view, and that also has some end value. Now, other is a production residue. Production residue means a material which you have not which is being produced during the processing of a particular crop, that you don't want to produce, but deliberately you have not produced it, but it came during the processing, during the further steps. Like I told you, that for example, when we do milling of rice, then rice bran is, the brown layer is to be removed to obtain the white rice. So this brown layer which is removed, it is known as rice bran. So this is a production residue. You don't want it, but during the processing you need, because people mostly like white rice in our country. So that's why we can call it as a production residue. Then the byproduct. What is a byproduct? A production residue that can be used directly or indirectly for further processing. Again, I'm taking the example of rice bran. Rice bran, which is a production residue in the rice milling industry. When this rice bran, because it have a oil content of more than 20%, when it goes to the oil industry, where now you must have heard of the rice bran oil which is in the market, and people are using it from the past. I think the hype basically is from the past 7 8 years, but although it is in market from past 15 years. So when this rice bran, which is oil rich, it goes to the oil industry. In the oil industry, they extract the oil from this rice bran, and then they generate again a byproduct which is called as de-oiled rice bran, because the oil is removed. This way, the conceptual framework is exactly, and the waste is something that exactly at the end you are saying that it is of no use, we have to discard it or we have to decompose it if it is decomposable. Now, till date, in the past, basically how people are using the residues, it could be as animal feed. For example, straw, wheat straw. Till date, wheat straw is being used. Composting for things where they are not as such used for feed, or like vegetable peels and all these things, they are being used as compost. For energy production like the corn cobs and other stalks and bagasse, they are all used for energy production. Biofuel production, as I told you, biogas production that is being used in past in villages, maybe in some parts also maybe still it's being used. Biochar production, and for conservation agriculture, these are the potential uses. Earlier we used to say that being used if we talk about the crop residues. And as I told you that tons, beside these usage, tons of the residue, it is being burnt on farm, and that is creating huge health issues in the of the population of every age group, whether it's a 5-year-old kid or whether it's a 65-year-old person. Now, then we thought that how these residues, apart from their previous use as a source of energy, how better we can bioconvert them so that safely it could be decomposed or safely it could be used, so that uh, on one side it is environment friendly, on other side it at least you can control the pollution, and on third side it is adding the what we have taken from the soil we are giving back to soil. That's it. So bioconversion basically it's a term where any kind of organic materials, such as it could be a plant waste, it could be an animal waste, that can be converted into any kind of usable product or any kind of energy sources, which I showed you in previous slides. Some usable products I'll be covering in further slides, or any kind of conversion from this waste into a useful product by using the biological agents. It could be certain microbes, it could be certain enzymes, means where you are using certain biological agents, then this is called the bio conversion. It's a way of converting that organic material into a useful thing by using certain microbes. And it basically put a pressure why that we want to recover the product, or it should be the product should be it could leads to also the recycling, the reusage of resources, and also the minimization of waste streams. So basically bioconversions aims all these things, and that's why we are converting the organic waste into the useful things by the microbes, and biofuels is a very good example of it. Now, then with time, earlier we are focusing on bioconversion. Then a term came with time as the pollution is increasing, as our air quality index is decreasing, climate uh, changes are there. Then a term came with time, that is a sustainable bioconversion. Now, bioconversion, I told you, sustainable means parallelly it should not generate any kind of uh, nuisance material or any kind of such things which are the waste which is generated from that bioconversion. It should also be safe. It should not be that it will further create the problem. Once we have converted the organic material into a useful thing, but again with generation of such kind of waste, that itself is creating a problem. So sustainability should be there in any kind of bioconversion, and this bioconversion from lab to its commercial viability to consumers, that ultimately is the goal. Now, in this concept, then we need to understand, as I told you, one example today we are taking is the protein. So why we are working in this area, and why today I have took this example. The thing is, if you see the data which is given by the ICMR Delhi, they say, if you check, they say more than 80% of people, they are protein, they have, you can say either malnutrition, either they have protein deficit, and in these 80% mostly are the women's, which are the sufferers due to this deficiency of protein in their body. And that's why the problems which they face in their late 50s, now they are facing that problems due to protein deficiency in their 40s and even in their 30s and 20s. But at the end, when we say no, no, we are taking a very healthy diet, and if you see in Indian food, mostly we are oriented towards the carbs, followed by fats. To some extent, protein and fiber both are ignored. Even you can take I can say a bowl of dal every day, since it hardly provides, because protein should be as per your body weight, and it should be more than 50% at least you have to consume, and from that bowl you hardly get 10%. So if we think that adding that 10% every day, you can imagine that how much carbs you are taking in at 200 or 300%, including fats, and how much deficit your body is in protein. And what happens then, slowly with age, this your bones and your whole structure, you started feeling lots of problem, and that is all because of this deficiency of protein. So why? Because in our country the food habits are like that. Parallel is secondly, the sources what we take, it supply the protein level in that particular product is also limited, and there are few products which are protein rich, but that is also, there is a issue, some people can eat, some people cannot eat. For example, somebody wants to have, like we eat soya bean every day, but some people, for example, who have an issue of thyroid, they can't consume soya. So these proteins, how we will give this protein to each and every table, we can give it in form of supplements. So that's why, and how these supplements, everybody know, when the word supplements and when the protein supplements come in market, we only know two things. One is the whey, and second is the protein powder protein which is in market from the whey milk. But now today we will discuss, there are many other plant based sources from where we get this protein. Now, before going into the protein part, there are few more things that have been done in past decades upon these residues. Means one is on their handling part, and their because we know that they're quite bulky and it's not easy to carry them from one to other place to longer distances. So one is a biomass pelletization. It's a very popular product which is being prepared from the residues, and the bulky residues is converted into such kind of pellets. It could be used as a fuel, it could be used as a your feeding and everything. These kind of pellets, they are easy to storage, easy to manage, easy to carry. And how these pellets are being prepared, they are being prepared from different kind of straws. It could be any straw. There are small pellet mill at lab level, and there are big plants which make these kind of pellets. And that's the good thing is that their moisture content is low, so they can be stored up to longer period, and they can be used as and when required, which is much better than storing a this straw. These I am discussing the current uses in terms of its utilization as a construction material, or as a feeding material, or likewise. So other is, we have heard of fly ash brick. This fly ash brick, it is basically in market. People are now using it for make in their houses. It is available from two sources. The major source is the coal ash. From coal ash they are making. But apart from that, rice husk which is after burning it, the ash which is left, that are also being used for making these fly ash bricks. They have equivalent strength, and they could be used than the ordinary one. And another thing, if you have seen, in past 2 3 years, there is a huge demand, and the government is saying that that there is a ban on single-use plastic. But on one hand, we are banning the single-use plastic, but there should be a way out also. That what could be the alternatives? So nowadays, you are seeing different kind of such kind of disposable tableware materials. They are available. There are three. There are hardly which have a means which are commercially making these things. There are 4 5 companies in India. One is in Hyderabad, one is in Bangalore, and which are making these kind of disposable tablewares. And some have a shelf life of up to 7 months. They could be reused, and some of them are also used in the microwave. So these earlier we used to eat food on the that we call pattals, but now they are being replaced by such kind of disposable tablewares, which you can say they have a good shelf life, and they have a appealing look, and they could be reused. They could be also compatible with the our microwaves and everything. And otherwise, like we all know about the collards. Traditionally, they are being made by the directly from the mud, but nowadays that mud is also very costly, and people are mixing. If you feel whatever these kind of cups they are available, they mix certain kind of different materials to provide strength to replace mud, but they are adding a very different taste to it. But it could be also, but these cups could be also be made by the adding the residues to it, which on one side is also strengthening the giving the strength, and also they are not compromising on the taste of the liquid which is poured in it. Corn cobs have been used for making for as a incorporation to certain percentage along with the mud for making these kind of earthen cups. And mushroom cultivation, we all know, for mushroom cultivation, it's mushroom cultivation, the different kind of rice straw, they are being used. And this is a commercial application that we all know how the mushroom is being cultivated, and where the different kind of residues in mixture they are used for producing different kind of mushrooms. And so these are the certain applications which, after the usage of residues as a energy, they is being shifted to the pelletizers. One, mushroom cultivation; other, fly ash bricks; third, or it could be the in form of cups; fourth, and there could be, this is a mushroom cultivation which is being done in Punjab Agricultural University. It's a photo of their lab where they commercially produce a mushroom. And now again, what after these? Again, we got stuck. Now we have, there could be many more applications where physically we can use these residues for any kind of end product. Now, when we say that we are deficit in protein, when we say that we need food for the growing population, then we need to think of these residues and their conversion as a food material. So this is, I told you that IMR, they are saying that more than 80% people, they are deficit. And if you see the UNICEF reports, they say that more than 46% of preschool children and 30% of the adults, these are, they suffer from moderate to severe protein calorie deficit, malnutrition. It appears to be like it couldn't be happen, but the actual facts are more than these. And now the question comes from where we need, where this kind of protein deficiency need to be fulfilled, how it could be fulfilled. Then I'm sharing you first the global scenario, how the different kind of how they are fulfilling their protein demand. They are fulfilling their protein demand in form of the supplements, and these supplements, they have a huge production market in, right from the you can say the North America. It dominates in the production of protein supplements. Then they are marketed to the countries, Asian countries and other countries. That's why the prices are very high here, because we hardly have a I can say an excel in this area of production of protein supplements. So basically, globally, North America, it dominates, followed by some other countries, and they are hardly few, like the Europe somewhere to some extent, and in Asia Pacific, hardly one or two countries. So this is a global protein supplement market. When we talk about the proteins, then in India the area is niche, but now people are aware. People those who earlier went to the gyms, they were aware that there is a product called protein supplements, and it is basically used in the bodybuilding. The information is limited only to this protein supplementation for bodybuilding, and only the person who went to the gym, they have to take these kind of proteins. But now people and our consumers, they are getting more and more aware in last 1 decade, and now the question come in their market that why market is so much flooded with these kind of protein supplements, how these can could be used by a common person. And when they have to use it, then what to buy, why to buy, and how to use it, different questions come in our mind. So for answering these questions, first we need to understand the labeling of these kind of products. There, if you notice any protein supplement, you can Google it, you can check it on Amazon, you can check it on any kind of store. Then you can find a word, the term protein isolate is written on any box. And protein isolate, the word isolate means that product have more than 90% of the protein in it. It could be in form of powder, it could be in form of any kind of product or anything. Means the product is more than 90% protein rich. That's why the word isolate is used. And there are some more requirements. Usually these kind of isolates, they doesn't have their own flavor, they are flavorless. And they are also usually of blend creamish white color. And because of their high protein concentration, they could be further used in your diets in different forms. And these isolates, they have presently they are being used as a meat analogs. 3D meat analogs are being prepared, which give a look of meat and texture of meat, but it is a basically a vegetarian source where the protein isolates are being used to mimic. the look of a meat. And they are also used as a texturized vegetable proteins, your vegetable supplements which are flooded with markets nowadays. If you go to a very like these big bazaars and all these, then you can find the bakery products, even the papads, they are being written with protein rich papad, and or you can say the protein rich cookies or protein rich shakes like these. Why? Because now as the consumers are aware, now the companies are looking into the different aspects of how to use this protein. And which is earlier they are coming with only one product in market, that is a supplement in form of powder. You can mix it, you can take it like that. But when you see that it's not easy, every time you take out a spoon and consume it, it should be handy also, that for example you are going to office, it should be in form of certain baked products that you can carry with you and you can have it anytime during your day, which could fulfill certain grams of your protein requirement of a day. So that's what I'm talking about. That dairy industry, it is among the most important source for isolating these kind of protein isolates. You must have seen such kind of boxes in market. Now I have explained the term isolate. Isolate is when the your protein content is more than 90%. There are a few terms also that you found on the in the labels, that is a protein concentrate or the hydrolyzed protein. In the third box you can see the ISO hydrolyzed. So protein concentrate means when the protein content is less than 85%, between 70 to 85%, then we call is at a concentrate. And hydrolyzed protein is when the certain enzymes are added to it to make the complex protein into the simpler peptide form so that your body could easily digest it. And these are the few terms which are written as per the particular box, and accordingly the rates are decided. That's why the isolates are costlier than the concentrates. And as I told you, the dairy industry, again, we know that milk is basically made of two proteins, that is the whey and casein. And whey protein, it can be separated from casein in the milk and formed, you can say, as a byproduct. Also, it is generated in the cheese making, and this byproduct is being used for making these kind of protein isolates. And in from 70s to late 90s, the basic source of these protein isolates is from the whey. Now, with time, when the researchers are working on other parts also, then we found that there are certain plants also which could provide a good protein isolate or good protein concentrate. And if you can remember from these boxes, then you can easily recollect that in past 2 3 years there are few people who are advertising these products. These are like Ozevia protein and herbs, plant-based proteins, this fast of plant protein isolate. And you can say in every product they have written whether it is an isolate, whether it is a concentrate, or whether it is a hydrolysate. And these products with time they are came in market, and from where they came, how we are making them, how what is their source, we'll just check in further slides. But the one plus point of replacing the whey based proteins by the plant based protein is that these plant based proteins have low calories and fat content, because we all know that the something which is coming from animal, the fat content and calorie content is quite high. So what the whey protein is having, these plant based proteins, their calories and in terms of fat, they are on a lower side, and they are rich in certain essential nutrients and rich in fiber, dietary fiber, what we all need for our body. Now, it just for example, I have just showed that how what kind of residues are being used for making these kind of plant proteins. For example, if you take example of sunflower, and this sunflower goes to oil industry. There, what they do, they dehull it, and after dehulling, removing its outer layer, they are steaming and cooking it, and they are expelling its oil. The final product is oil, and the byproduct is sunflower cake. Then this sunflower cake is further used for any end use which it is having, because every industry byproduct it goes to some kind of further industry for its usage. So similarly, presently at CFET we have worked on crops like soybean, groundnut, rice bran, and in which our main product is groundnut, for example. And after groundnut, it went to the oil industry. We got the groundnut oil which is coming in the market. What is the left? The left is a groundnut cake. Similarly, in soy, it is soya cake. And in case of rice bran, it is de-oiled rice bran. So these are some other cakes like soybean de-oiled cake. It looks like that. Groundnut de-oiled cake, sunflower de-oiled cake, rapeseed de-oiled cake. Mustard cake is majorly used in feed, and the protein which is extracted from it, it have a certain kind of you can say it tastes very differ, bitter in taste. And as far as the soy and groundnut and bran rice bran protein is, they are totally bland. You can't find a difference between a powdered almond and the protein which is coming from the groundnut, soybean, and the rice. So then, depending upon the type of product people are launching, the industries are launching in market, they have named these products accordingly, and it's up to the consumers what exactly they want to take, and accordingly their rates are decided. There are such certain products where we can say the protein enriched flour. It could be named so when it is a protein content of 45 to 65%. We say concentrate when it has a protein content of 66 to 85%, and we say it's a isolate when it has more than 86 or basically more than 90% protein content is there, then we say the protein isolate. So parallelly, they being priced accordingly. Flours are quite cheaper, and followed by the concentrates are have a high cost, and isolates have the higher cost. And there are few like soy pro. This is a soybean based protein. And what is the raw material? The raw material in this case is the soybean cake. And this soybean cake, it is being used, it is processed, and then we extract the protein out of it. And after this protein extraction, it is being dried, and then it is sold. So this is soya pro. These all are coming from the your residues. But there is one more thing, that earlier people are using whole crops for making these kind of proteins. Now in last this 5 7 8 years, now people have researchers have concentrated on the residues part, that how much value we can add to that residue, and how much protein could be extracted from these residues. So now we are shifted from whole crop to the production of protein from these kind of cakes. And another example is of the brown rice protein. There are a few players, if you could find them on Amazon, and they are quite high priced. Like there are two things in case of rice, because of some certain extraction issues of the protein, their purity is usually 80%, which is being marketed. And there is a huge difference in their price. If you could see that for one brand, the 100 grams itself cost you 890 rupees. Just imagine, only 100 grams, and in other 360 grams you're 750 rupees, and in the third, it is around 4000. Yeah, for 1 kg they are charging you 1523 likewise. And the difference is because of either they are adding certain kind of supplements, certain vitamin minerals to it, or depending upon the purity, or depending upon the yes, purity. Again, the prices, they vary. Now, if we talk about what we have done at ICR CFIT on for production of these plant proteins, I want to share that we are working in this area for past 8 9 years. And first, we have worked on the soy protein isolate and groundnut protein isolate, where we have developed a novel method of extraction. Uh, that is, and we filed 3 patents in it. One Indian patent is being granted, and 2 international patents being filed. And that our technology is the microbial method for production of these isolate and concentrates from oilseed cakes. These are our technologies which are being licensed, and with their licensing fee. And this technology, it's a novel technology. I want to add one thing here, that in India, we are the first one who have worked on such kind of area, and we come with this kind of technology. And in Australia, when we are filing our patent, then we have checked in Australia, there is one firm, one company which is making similar, not exactly same, similar kind of products. And just in this our technology, it was commercialized first in 2020. And now in last 2 months, Tata has come with a product which is called as GoFit. And if you can check on Google, then it's a women centric protein, and where they are using similar kind of technology what we have done in 2020. And we could say that ICR and specifically our institute CIFET, they are working in such a novel area. And other our technology that is also being commercialized is the technology for production of rice bran protein. So here ultimately we are working on the residues, on the bioproducts part, depending upon the concentration, depending upon the amount of protein present in that. It's not that randomly we'll pick any kind of residue and we'll start extracting certain kind of bioactives or certain kind of protein in it. No, it should be, there should be an edge in its composition. There should be, like for example in soy, and soy we all know that after extraction of oil, the meal which is left, it has around 50% protein. And that, because it have a huge protein content in it, that's why it is being exploited hugely around the world through standard methods. And presently China is the biggest supplier. Likewise, everybody knows in every other thing China is the largest supplier. So similarly, China is the largest supplier of that soy protein. What we are doing in India, people are exporting their soy meal at a very less price to them, and they are supplying that costly soya protein to our country in form of different kind of products. But now with these efforts we are trying in last 4 5 years that people should start their entrepreneurship, people should come to us, they should learn this novel area. Because now if you see, if you observe, just check, just add protein supplements in market, the your online surfing is flooded with these kind of products which are coming from other countries. Then again, the Atmanirbhar Bharat, what our PM says, then we need to work on these areas also, and we need to bring out certain which other have not done. So likewise, we are working on these things now. Uh, till we have, I have shared you the protein products from animal residues. Secondly, I have shared with you the protein products from plant residues. Now there is a third angle also which I want to share, that is a protein supplement from the microbial sources also, and they are also in the market. At CFET also we have worked on certain kind of microbial protein also. And if just for some could recollect that they might have seen such kind of algae capsules, they are available on Amazon. Vega, other brand is Vega, and if you could easily find the Red Star savory yeast flakes are there, like your corn flakes, these are yeast flakes, these are also protein rich. How these kind of proteins could be used, these tablets, they are being consumed depending upon the as suggested by the doctor. There are few international companies like Earthrise, Red Star, BP, Shell, and there are Indian companies also. These are Dabur, Himalaya, and others, and they are making such kind of products which could be taken. So what's the edge over the animal than over the plant is the production. Like for growing any plant, at least its whole life cycle takes 3 to 6 months. And after 3 to 6 months, we obtain the product. For example, cereal, for example rice, it took 6 months to grow. And then after its milling, we obtain the residue which we are trying to use that residue for protein production. But the beauty in case of the microbial sources of protein is that you can grow it in lab. In 24 hours you have your product in hand. So, and with incoming times, we have to work in these areas, because we all know shortage of land, there's a shortage of all kind of your sources. It could be water, it could be anything. We need to be faster up in on the production side. And as I told that we are deficit it in proteins, then we need to work on certain things which are providing you a source of which are adding to your 10 grams of protein which you are taking. The other 40 grams is being added by such kind of safe supplements, I could say. And again, depending upon the suitability, people can opt for either the microbial sources of protein, either the your plant sources of protein, or the animal sources of protein, because ultimately all the three, they are coming from different kind of residues. And beside that, there is a huge application part, which theoretically I could say, being we have all studied when we talk about the waste bioproducts and the residues, and some of them have applications, some of them are commercially being produced in the industries. Few of the examples are here, like these residues being used as single cell proteins. They could be used for production of ethanol, biofuels. They being used for production of different enzymes. For example, presently we are using different kind of residue materials like bagasse and your straws and other stocks. We are working on these aspects presently at CIFET, and through solid state fermentation we are making different commercial enzymes also. So likewise, pigments and your vitamins, xanthan, pullunin, biogas. There are many value-added products that are coming from these residues. The basic material is residue, and through different kind of micro bioprocessing, different kind of usage of microbes and different kind of usage of enzymes, they are being converted to these kind of value-added products. And if on a further side, again, if in a briefly, I'm just showing that how that these straws, peels, cakes, and they through the fermentation, as I told you, microbial fermentation, how they are converted into the application parts like the fuels, TEMF, a product, fermented product, feed, and your fertilizers, different kind of chemicals and antibiotics. So likewise, there are many applications, among which today I briefed an overview about the proteins and the further physical form usage of different kind of residues. Now, in conclusion, we can say, as I told you, that we need to work on the sustainable bioconversion of the residues for their value addition, which could be economical viable, which could have an acceptability among the consumers, and it should be sustainable in all terms. And there are different forms where it could these residues being used. It could be either in form of pellets, it could be either in use form of mushroom cultivation, and as a food, it could be used for production of proteins and certain residues. They are rich in dietary fibers, that dietary fibers could be extracted, and many more. But ultimately, the conversion should be a sustainable bioconversion with its economical value and economical viability. And parallelly, what we are focusing on reducing the carbon footprint, making the cheaper and alternate viable sources viable. Alternate sources we can make at lab level, but it should be viable commercially also. And we need to work on, like, in one instance people will think that when we are getting everything from food, then why to go for such kind of supplements, and why to target the residues when we have the main crop. But for meeting the demands of, as we all know that how our population is growing, we need to work on the non-conventional sources also, because pulses India, India is, I can say, it's on the niche side on production, and how to what percentage of population that pulses are reaching, and what population is consuming, and to whom it is being reaching, how much they are consuming it daily. And likewise the milk and different sources from where we are getting the protein. So we need to look on these aspects also. Today, do one thing: go and check your BMI, and just any app you download, for example, you can download Healthify Me, any app you download, and just for a sake of knowing that what kind of healthy food you are eating, just for a sake of 2 3 days, add your diet, what breakfast you are taking, what lunch, snacks, what you are taking. Just in 2 3 days you get an idea that what is your intake of carbs, what is your intake of fat, what is your intake of protein and fiber. From that itself you got an idea that where you are lacking, and accordingly you should act upon that, just to avoid the medication which we later get from the doctors. But ultimately, we ultimately the focus what we are losing on the food part itself. We are eating food, we are eating a lot of food, but we are not eating balanced food. So with this, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Surya, for such a nice and informative presentation. It is pertinent in this scenario to deal with the agricultural waste management, and it surely a upcoming researchable area as well as general awareness for the common people. So now the house is open for discussion. Dr. Pankaj, you have raised hand, so you may ask question, and somebody else wants to ask, they may also. Dr. Pankaj, you have raised hand now. Somebody wants to discuss something or some feedback related to the session.
Hello,
Hello.
madam. Madam, did you check the essential amino acid content between these protein isolates from plant, animal, and
Yes,
microbiome?
yes. Yes, we have checked. Like, for example, in one slide where I have shown you the microbial method which we have developed, the protein which we are extracting using that microbial method, its amino acid, essential amino acid content is far better than the standard method which is being used in industry. When we are working on proteins, then we are looking into all, not only the amino acid profiling, we are working also on its functional properties, that how it could further behave. It should not be denatured. We are also looking on not only upon the protein content, up to pdcast level, up to animal trials we have gone, and we found that it have many anti-diabetic and many good properties, what we are making at what we have technologies available at CFIT.
Okay, madam. Madam, what about protein digestibility, madam? Protein
Yes,
digestibility.
yes, very good question. I want to share one thing. Like the standard protein, for example, soya protein, which is available in market. As I told you, there are two. There is a difference. One is the protein isolate. One is the hydrolyzed protein. Hydrolyzed protein is that we all know that there are digestibility issues with the plant proteins. That specifically with the pea and the soy. So what the industries are doing, they are adding certain kind of digestible enzyme in it so that your body could adapt, could easily digest it. On the other side, we are working on rice bran protein. Why? We are working on this protein because its digestibility is higher than casein and your egg protein. So in that case, you don't need to add any kind of enzymes or further supplements. It is as such, because we all know rice is highly digestible. We are giving the, if you could see the labeling of Cerelac, it have the rice protein what we are giving to the newborn babies. So yes, when there is an issue of digestibility, people are using enzymes. What method we have, what technology we have developed at CFET, that itself is increasing its digestibility from 62% to 89%.
Okay, thank you, madam. One more question, madam. Like, what is the essential amino acid profile in rice bran protein, madam?
These are basically in rice bran, these are lysine rich. Like other
Okay,
cereals, their amino acid profiling, if you could see, they lack. Rest of the amino acids, they are at par, similar to other plant proteins, but these are lysine rich. Apart from that, they are anti-diabetic, and they have high digestibility, and their protein, you can see those people who are allergen to, you can say, soy and other things, they could easily can start with the rice proteins because of its digestibility issues, and also the PER ratio, means how much protein is available in your body after you consuming it.
okay, thank you, madam.
Hello, ma'am. Am
Hello.
I audible?
Yes, audible.
Yes, doctor.
Uh, Ma'am, really, I enjoyed your presentation and you clearly put a lot of effort into it. Uh, One question I want to ask, what are the potential harmful effects of protein supplements?
Harmful effects, you can say. See, we know excess of everything is bad. This saying itself is true. Likewise, I told you ki everyone should check their BMI, and accordingly, people say, at least more than 50% you can take the protein. Only that much is required. If you are taking something in more, definitely you have certain blotting issues, your stomach aches, and other digestion issues.
Okay.
Otherwise, there are no such harms because they are pure proteins. Something is pure doesn't mean you take it 10 spoons a day. You have to be gradual. Like we are eating chapati every day. Similarly, we are eating proteins every day. But these supplements are safe. I cannot say even a supplement because they are not flooded with different kind of additives. It is a pure protein thing that is being extracted from a residue, or that is being extracted from a crop, and it is being just packed and given to the consumer. That's it.
Okay, ma'am. And is there any age we can't
There
take
is no
the
age.
protein.
No,
Okay.
there is no age. That's why I think there are around how much participants? 121. Just do
Mm,
one thing, just check your BMI for 3 days,
okay.
download any app and just check what diet you are
Mm,
taking for 3 days.
oh, okay.
And then you will realize that where you are lacking. That's why we are saying कि हमारा weight कम नहीं होता. Out of
Mm,
121, at least half will agree with this point.
right, right. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Okay.
Madam, may I audible, madam?
Yeah,
Thank you very much, madam, for your nice presentation. I have a small question, madam.
yes.
Can you explain the importance of the glycemic index in paddy, rice, and the diabetic patients? Which variety of rice have to prefer?
That
Glycemic index.
yeah,
Glycemic index.
glycemic index I can say, but I cannot say about the variety because we are not working on the crop aspects. See, glycemic index is basically, you can say, it's a value which is assigned to any kind of food based upon how quickly and how high these products can increase your blood glucose level. See, so for example, if you talk about the oats, they have a low glycemic index. So people who are diabetic, they have to go for such kind of products like oats instead of rice because they have a high glycemic index. So likewise, uh, the varieties what people have developed, you have to contact those the breeders. And parallelly, I can say that instead of fine cereals, instead of your this wheat or rice, you go for the coarse cereals like the millets. Like in this year, we are celebrating the millet year. So all those millets, they have a low GI. The diabetic people can go for that. That diet is really good for the diabetic people.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam. So instead of rice, it is better to go for
Even
millets.
even rice, you can replace the rice with your quinoa. Quinoa
Okay.
have a similar flavor while making, and it's very rich in protein and dietary fibers with a low GI.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
Ji.
Hello, madam. Thank you for the nice presentation. I am a floriculture scientist in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
I have a doubt. Can we prepare some cattle feed cakes using flour residues, like flour waste?
Yes, we can make. See, there is a basic requirement for feed. If I'm not wrong, Pragya may correct that at least the BIS have given certain guidelines. It should be fall in that. Basically, presently, whatever residues we are generating from producing these proteins, that residue is being used for the animal feed. I think 10, it should have 10% of protein, and its insoluble ash is around 1 to 2%. So yes, feed could be prepared.
Okay, thank you.
Madam,
Yes.
hello.
Ji.
Madam, please tell me, sugarcane leaf can be used as a feed for milk carton?
Sorry, sir. I didn't get your question. Please repeat.
I'm saying sugarcane leaves.
Sugarcane leaves.
Can it be used for as a feed for the milk cattle?
For milk, you're okay. You are talking about the sugarcane leaves. See, every product, every residue, what is there, it could be used for feeding purpose. But the thing is that its composition is means it have a high lignin content. Although ruminants can eat sugarcane leaves because they can easily digest the cellulose part of that, which is but the cellulose part is quite high, like 35 to 50%. So in not whole, but a part of it could be used in mixing with the other kind of residues like straws and other green residues, because all these
Is
residues
there
they
any
are
adverse effect of sugarcane leaves as feed on milk production capacity?
I can't comment on that.
Uh, she's a plant scientist actually, the agriculture scientist. So she is not specialized in animal. But maybe if lignin is there, likewise paddy straw have some deteriorating effect on milk production. Likewise, maybe. So it is a researchable area. can find in literature.
Which
So,
is a
Madam, I would like to point.
hello.
Yes.
Hello.
मैम मुझे ये बताएं कि
Yes.
कोई
सर आपका ना नेटवर्क इशू है
केमिकल है
आपका
जो शुगर केन लीफ अगर फीड करता है मैडम आर यू गेटिंग मी
Your voice is, there are some network issues. We're not getting your voice properly.
Madam, I would like to add a
Yes,
point
ma'am,
over
I have
there regarding the use of
Yes.
sugarcane tops. The
Yes.
sugarcane tops, it can be fed, no issue, but it should not be the
Hmm.
only feed that it is fed. It should be fed with other like maize and bajra or the near grass, because if it is fed in the pregnancy period, so there are
Hmm.
chances that due to phosphorus deficiency, there may be chance of post-purulent hemoglobinuria that is commonly seen because the sugarcane top is less in phosphorus or it is phosphorus deficiency. So our area is predominantly sugarcane belt. So we regularly see that problem. So once the phosphorus is fed orally or injection is given, so immediately it recovers. Else there may be a chance of hemoglobinuria or hematuria.
so
So
Okay.
Satish ji, you got your answer, I think.
okay ma'am okay thank you
so it is not advised as a sole feed, but it can be fed as a part. But it is better to
okay
avoid
sir
in the late pregnancy.
okay sir thank you
So is there any question? So if there is no question, we are going to end the session. Okay. So no more questions. So at the end, I would like to thank Surya Madam for coming to this online training program and sharing her valuable insight in this upcoming researchable as well as the need of the general public to know more about the protein and intake of protein in the form of supplements and other means. So thanks once again, Surya and all the participants for joining us today. And we will again meet at 2:30. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.